Okay, let's call our meeting to order. The regular meeting of the Architectural and Design Commission, please come to order. I will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please stand. Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Bartlett.
Here, present.
Commissioner Chant.
Present.
Commissioner Despain.
Present.
Commissioner Tufts.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Public business from the floor. Any person who would like to address the Architectural and Design Commission on any agendized item is requested to complete a speaker card for the recording secretary and identify the agenda item you would like to discuss. Each person will be given an opportunity to address the Architectural and Design Commission at the time such item is discussed by the Architectural and Design Commission. Speaker cards available at the entrance of council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Do we have any speakers?
There are no speakers.
Okay. Moving on to calendar. Let's see. The first item is approval of minutes from the regular meeting of November 7th, 2019. May we have a motion, please? I move that we approve the minutes from the regular meeting.
I'll motion that we approve the meeting minutes.
I'll second then.
Commissioner Despain, can you push the button a few more times? We're having technical difficulties.
Just hold it down.
And your vote
Bartlett.
too a few times.
There we go.
Okay, got it.
There it is.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the continued item, Director's Review number 19-113. Can we have an update on this item, please?
There is an update. Thank you. Good evening, Commissioner Bartlett and members of the Architecture and Design Review Commission. The item before you tonight is a continued item from your November meeting. And at that meeting, the Commission reviewed the elevations for this particular item. And at that meeting, the Commission requested that the applicant revise their elevations and provide 360-degree architecture, consider adding shutters throughout the design of the homes, enhanced articulations on the corner lots. And since then, the applicant has done a significant amount of revisions as identified in your elevation package, as well as you should have an attachment that shows a breakdown, a narrative of every single change that was done. Additionally, I will turn it over to the applicant that will further walk you through the design and all of the changes. So at this point, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Ron Mendelian, who will take it over from here. Thank you.
Good evening. I'll just go briefly through each elevation. I think that would be that. Okay. First of all, this is the conceptual site plan of the approved map. The difference that we did, we dedicated 4 lots in the middle for a community park. This is house type A, and each slide after that will show how each elevation changed. Starting from the front elevation, we didn't have much issue with the front. The main issue was the architecture of 360 to improve the sides and the rear. So some of them you'll see minor changes on the front, some you'll see more with how we revised the roof. We implemented mansard roof to make the difference. So upper elevation the way it was in November, below what it's been changed to. This particular elevation added decorative elements on each side. Those are box outs with the finish on it, not just the finish, so it has a relief, and the shutters added. This elevation, the roof split into 2 elements, and decorative wainscots added on the bottom, shutters added, windows added. If you see a dash line next to the window, right here, close to the windows, there was a concern that the bedroom windows look at each other across the property line, so we staggered them. That shows the alternative location across the setback. Less than half of our lots maintain the minimum required 5-foot setback. Most of them are 7 and 10 feet because the lots vary in the widths. So in all cases, they're going to be staggered. And that's throughout each project. Each type. This is the rear elevation. Again, shutters added to the door, decorative element to the corner with the stone to replicate the front so it all ties together. This is the next one, our type B, roof changed to mansard roof. Pitch is changed, I think this one to 8 to 12. Again, to go one by one, here you see shutters added and roof completely changed. Site, this was the previous site, this is what we did to it. Even though this is garage, we still added windows, added this element in the middle. The other side, roof, windows, planter, different. That middle window is, again, used to be bedroom window facing directly. Now we moved it to the side, and the other one will be on the other side. Rear. This is type C. Again, to compare before and after. This is before and after. All those elements added, that's not just stucco color difference, it's actual box out. Type D. And the type E. This is a typical corner lot elevation, and that you wanted to see how the ADU elevation will look like. That's the ADU elevation. I wanted to emphasize the overhangs. We tried to implement 30-inch overhangs. They did not work on a 5-foot side yards and a 1-story building. However, in our understanding, the intent of 30-inch overhangs is to create more shading. So we are putting 36-inch overhangs on all rear elevations where we have big doors, sliding doors. In front, of course, we have large patios, which large overhang. And all ADUs, double sliding doors facing the ADU backyard, going to have 36-inch overhangs. That's it.
Turn this off. Do they all have single-car garages?
2-car garages.
They're
Tandem.
tandem.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. I wasn't seeing that they were.
Yeah. Can we take a look at, can I see house D elevation, side C? I have a question on that. Oh, back up one.
This one?
No, keep going. Side C. That's side A.
Let's see which one.
Keep
is C.
going.
Oh, the rear elevation. C is the
House
rear.
D elevations, yes.
C rear facing the backyard.
What? There it is.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, is that 2 sliding windows?
Those are
Or-
sliding doors.
Are they 2 separate? Is there a wall? Is that because there's a wall there? Is it a separate unit?
No,
Or is it
it's
just
one
two?
unit. One of them is a living room, one of them is bedroom, master bedroom.
I see. Okay. So,
And the door that you see in the back, that's a door to the garage, from the garage out.
so you've got two slider windows, one for the living room and one for the bedroom.
Yep.
Okay, I see.
And on the improved version, we added grids. You can't really, it didn't come out that right, but we put in grids on these windows too.
And do you have any elevations for the ADCs, the
For
auxiliary?
ADUs, we have that front rendering of it. This one. That's the porch and the front. But each ADU will repeat the color scheme of the house in front, so they're not going to be by itself separately. So if, let's say, if we have this type with those stucco colors, it will be repeated on the ADU. So each one will match its front house.
And what else will be repeated on that? I mean, all we have is the front side.
Well, we do have
To approve, so-
we do have larger overhangs in the back. They're still going to have large sliding doors to the back. The wall facing the main house will have clear story windows on top for privacy. We're still putting windows. We don't want a black wall, but it's going to be a clear story on top. So the tenant in that unit will not look directly in the backyard of the front unit from main house. So you have one big clear story window on the top, and then two big sliding doors, and the front will have
Can
the
you
porch.
scroll to that, please? Because we don't have a copy of that slide.
The rendering?
Yes, thank you. This is all we have for the auxiliary units. And that shows a street,
This is a corner lot condition.
but the auxiliary units were behind the initial structure, correct?
Yeah, but when we, let me go here. When we have a corner lot, you'll have a direct access to it from the street.
My point is, they're not all corner lots.
No, but if you see, let's say, on the upper street, you see walk-ups to them. That's what the rendering shows. That condition, that particular condition. But the articulation of each ADU will be similar at the same level. Either it's
Similar
on a
to
corner, at the same level, either, whether it's on a corner or in the back, they're still going to be matching the front house.
So the facade, the fenestration,
All
the
the same.
landscaping will match
Yeah.
the parent house? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
So I'm to understand that this is just the approval for the front house, not the additional back house, correct?
That is correct. The purview or the scope of this particular review is solely for the front homes. You may know earlier, or actually late last year, there was a series of bills that came down from the state regarding accessory dwelling units and really limiting the city's ability to regulate and have any real control. This particular project, the applicant has provided more detail than would normally be required and is identifying the units for the purpose of having kind of a cohesive development. And so they're shown on here, but again, we're really limited. The expectation of the city, and the applicant is very much aware and amenable, is that each unit should be designed consistent to the front unit, and so that there's some harmony, and they have agreed to do that, and that's something that, you know, it's a kind of a mutual agreed upon expectation.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. How far are your ADU units from the property lines?
Rear property line, 5 feet.
5 feet.
5 feet.
I think on the side, we have a backyard for the ADU, so it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, some lots are bigger, so it's 5 feet minimum, which is per code, and some of them goes larger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's the rear yard too, remember? So it's like 15 feet or something.
Right.
20 feet, and it's 5.
And Commissioner Bartlett, the bills allow for even less.
Right.
So the fact that we have the 5 feet, I think it's a little bit more that we can expect, at least for a little bit of yard area.
I thought it was interesting that it changed so drastically.
The accessory structures, even under today's code, can be closer to a property line. The primary dwelling unit cannot be so close, but accessory structures can, and these are considered accessory.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But that's on the rear. On the sides, we have more, so we have a little open area for the unit and some frontage for it too.
Do they have access to the garages from their accessory dwellings?
Yes, they do. Mhm.
So I didn't see that, but the tandem garages, are they pull-throughs or are they?
No, tandem garage is for the
There's two
main
separate-
house, and then there's a space next to it for
Oh, okay.
for the one car. So
Gotcha.
keep them off the street.
Got it. If there's no other questions, can we have a motion?
I motion that we approve, sorry, lost track of the item number.
Director's review 19-13.
Yeah, I motion that we approve Director's Review Item 19-113.
I'll second the motion. Let's vote.
Motion passes 4-0.
Next item is public business from the floor. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the commission on any subject regarding city business. Under state legislation, no action can be taken on non-agenda items. Members of the public should be aware of this when addressing the commission regarding items not specifically referenced on the agenda. Please complete a speaker card for the recording secretary. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers.
I stand adjourned to the regular meeting on Thursday, February 6, 2020 at 5 p.m. in Lancaster City Hall chambers. Meeting adjourned.